Alright, so I went to a local sci-fi fair. Now, by fair, it's a tiny little sort of room, and there's maybe, I don't know, 10 or 12 stalls, and most of them aren't really selling anything that I want. I mean, who wants to buy, get cushions and things? I don't know, like, look, it's a cushion with a TARDIS on. No thanks. Toys, please. I'll have toys, please. This was one of the things I got, a Bespin Guard. Bit of an army builder. I was hoping to get the Ugnaught. Still don't have Ugnaught, but nope, no Ugnaught forthcoming. There's a guy who usually has sort of boxes full of Star Wars figures. Now, a couple of years back, or a year or so ago, when I first went to the sci-fi thing, it was mainly full of like Power of the Force and Power of the Jedi. So I'm assuming he's now starting to get through his collection, and we're starting to get some quite interesting bits and pieces coming through there. But he had a box full of the Playmates Star Trek figures, and he was selling them for £3 a pop, which I thought that was pretty reasonable. I mean, you know, kind of eBay prices, you would be probably talking nigh on £3 before you've even bought the toy, really, for postage and the like. And there was one that I was definitely picking up for £3. I was like, that's mine, I'm having him, and stuff. So I was like having a rummage through, and there was quite a lot there that I needed. But obviously, you know, I kind of wanted to get other bits and pieces, so I just kind of selected a few that I wanted and stuff. So first of all, I got this, absolutely, this was the one that I had to get. Movie Scotty from Generations. Look at that, man. That is pretty damn sexy. In terms of moustached, grey-haired Scottish folk. And I kind of stuck with trying to get as much plastic for my money as I could by buying like the big bulky figures. So here's this guy. Looks a bit like James Spader there from Mask, but he's quite a beefcake. This other guy from Deep Space Nine. Apparently he's a frequent visitor to Deep Space Nine. So. And again, he's quite the beefcake, big fat head and stuff. Pretty cool. And so obviously I picked a few of them up, and there was a lass there, but I didn't know that she was. But I tend to like picking up lass figures for some strange reason. Don't know. And I thought, do I want to get her or not? And stuff. So I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'll just say to the guy, right, £3 each, will you do 4 for a tenner? And he's like, I get on then. So I picked this guy up. I didn't pick the last up. No, I went more bang for my buck with a big beefy alien guy. So there you go. Got those four for £10, which I thought was pretty reasonable, really. £2.50 each. Why not? And then there's a stall that usually has a vintage mosquito figure, and they usually have it on, and I usually always ask it, how much is it? And every time they'll say, oh, it's £20. And it's like, no, you're not, you're lying, it's not £20. You're talking out of your butt. And I went today, no, I didn't go today at all. When I went, I couldn't see Mosquito, and a little bit of us died inside a little bit. But, you know, that's just life for you. I dare say somebody probably just predicted. It wasn't me. And I had this guy, just randomly on the sort of table-esque thing, and I thought, oh, how much are you going to want for this guy then? So I picked it up and said, oh, how much you want for this guy? And the woman's get like, 2 seconds, and came back and she was like, oh, it should be labelled up. And obviously, you know, you always think then, kind of like, hold on, are you trying to say I've pulled the label off? I haven't, obviously, but I always kind of feel that that's kind of what they're saying. And she came back and said £3. So I was like, I get on them £3, you know, why not? I'm not going to haggle with you because obviously he's quite clearly wanted to rip people off. So £3, go on then, I'll let you take your money. And I love the FX series of droids. So this one will go lovely with me FX7s. And you even get a leg of a droid too. So bit bonus, that's like 1 point. I don't know how many pieces, I don't know, 1 and a bit of a figure type of thing. For £3, and then obviously went to the guy who sells the Star Wars figures, who I was talking about previously, if you can remember. And he had quite a few of these Saga Collection ones, which I was like, ooh, Saga Collection ones, very nice. And the first one that kind of jumped out was General Raikkonen. And he sells these for £4 or 3 for a tenner. So it's kind of a bit of a no-brainer. You're going to get 3, isn't it, really, rather than paying £4 each. Although £4, I think that's fairly reasonable for a mock Star Wars figure. Not that it'll be staying mock for long. And the other two that I got was a couple of Cantina patrons. So there's this guy. Here we go, Hem Dazon. He looks fantastic. Really can't wait to get that guy out. And the other one is the praying mantis lass in her kind of Hawaiian hula girl skirt. Right. Quite possibly one of the most random Star Wars figures I've ever seen. So there you go. But I was like, alright then, mate, will you do 4 for a tenner? And I knew I was pushing me luck, but I was giving him my best cheesy git grin and stuff, and he went, no. But I'll do 4 for £12. So I was like, get on then. And there was about 3 or 4 other figures that I really wanted, but I didn't obviously want to spend like another tenner. One of them was flipping, what's it called? The Count Dooku from the Revenge of the Sith line. I don't have a Count Dooku, so I was kind of like, I want a Count Dooku, like. And the other one was one of those characters from the Argos adverts, the Camino alien things with the big lang necks. So I was like, I kind of want that as well, but not really. And the one that I plumbed for in the end was the Death Star Gunner. I absolutely love this design for this character. It's like dating back to when my brother first got the original vintage version, and I kind of totally just thought, my God, they've made an action figure of Kit the car from Knight Rider. That was kind of, and it's stuck with us ever since. So I absolutely love this guy. It's crying shame it's the last 17 one. I don't even have the original one anymore. And it's going to cost us sort of a few pennies, and it's one that I wouldn't mind army building. So therefore, if I can get kind of other alternate versions of the character design, then I'll take them. So there we are. That's what I got. So 4 for £12, £3 each, £15 for 5 Star Wars figures. That's pretty good going in my book. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all later on. Aye. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way.